on TikTok as well. Question we're going to be asking is simple because I've been hammered about something I said earlier, and I've posted it on. I tend to post my shorts and things like that on YouTube, and there's shorts on TikTok as well. But apparently, I got myself in a bit of a spat earlier, and I want to make sure I get this run this by you folks because I get criticized sometimes with some of my statements, and I always invite dissenting opinions. At the end of the day, I don't get every damn thing right, so I don't mind someone criticizing me. But this is one you see. The whole live stream is titled "Was I Wrong About Trump?" Now, I'm going to ask this question because there was something I said earlier about Trump, and many folks criticized the hell out of me, stating that I'm trying to be a troll or something of that nature. You don't know what you're talking about, and this is based on something that Trump said, and I want to get it from you folks. And I see in the comments, Stick the Ruler says everything. Was I wrong about Trump on everything? Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to talk about the first thing I'll talk about. We'll talk about the actual topics of the show, but then I'll get into what I'm allegedly wrong about on Trump. First of all, I know many of you probably are aware, or maybe you've heard that the host of MSNBC has conceded. Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, I think, is the other guy. So if you watch a lot of MSNBC, you may be aware that the host of MSNBC actually went and met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Now that could be viewed as a good thing, or it could be viewed as literally the network being traitors to their viewers by some that are on the far left, some of the progressives, like said all of this awful stuff about Trump. And now here you are going to his home and meeting with him at Mar-a-Lago. So I do want to hear your opinion on how do you feel about that. They called Trump damn near Hitler. They had a lot of things negative to say about Trump at MSNBC. And to have two of the biggest names on the network who were indeed themselves saying this stuff to go down to Mar-a-Lago and meet Trump at his home. Is that some type of a concession that maybe they were wrong about Trump? How do you view that? That they had, that these folks went to meet with Trump? Because keep in mind, imagine Kamala Harris winning and host of The Five, Jesse Waters and Jeanine Pirro going to meet with Kamala Harris. You think the Fox News viewers, how do you think they would have taken that? Because that's kind of what happened in reverse. So, and I see in the comments, Johnny says he had no option but to bend the knee. Their ratings dropped by 50%. Well, assuming what you're saying is correct, that MSNBC had no choice but to go meet with Trump because their ratings were dropping so bad, then you would basically be alluding to the notion that their newscast is not authentic. They'll do whatever it takes to get ratings, even if it goes completely against their principles. Now, I am in agreement that all networks care about their damn ratings. I get that. But you can't get up there and say the dude is Hitler and then you go meet with him because your ratings are dropping. That's about as inauthentic as it can get. So I want to ask you folks, how do you feel about that? Him going to meet with basically, and by the way, this could actually go both ways. I mean, Trump has said a hell of a lot of things negative about MSNBC as well, and he let them into his home. And Trump's ratings have not dropped. So it could go both ways. I want to ask this question. Is it possible that Trump is more of a unifying, peaceful person than his detractors or even MAGA believe? Because make no mistake about it, once he appointed Matt Gaetz to the Attorney General's position, there were MAGA all over social media stating that he should go out and prosecute everybody from Dr. Fauci on down. Go and get Hunter Biden, go and get Hillary Clinton. MAGA wants blood as well. So the fact that Trump is willing to meet with his adversaries, maybe he's more unified and peaceful than both his detractors and MAGA alike. Is that possible? that Trump just wants harmony, but he's hyped up everybody so damn much that everybody wants to fight, and he doesn't. So I want to ask you folks that. That's in the comments, well, Joe Scarborough was once a Republican, so I'm not surprised, just chicken shit. Well, whatever the case may be, Trump was once a Democrat as well, so we can bring that up. Now, I want to go also into what was I wrong about before I start taking callers. I want to go what I was wrong about possibly. I see Brian Fox says, I bet Tim, referring to yours truly, I bet Tim wishes he would have bought all Trump's online memos. LOL. No, if you want to suggest something I wish I had to purchase because of Trump, probably Bitcoin. Bitcoin has done phenomenally well since Trump got elected. Now there are things like prison stocks because so many folks believe Trump is going to swell up the prisons with a hell of a lot of incarcerated folks. A lot of them might be Hispanics, namely illegals. A lot of folks in the prison for profit industry as well are doing very well, not at the perception of Trump coming back. So, but me, Bitcoin. I wish I had to purchase some of that cryptocurrency, namely Bitcoin. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you folks, was I wrong about? Trump promised that if he was elected, he could end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. He stated he would do this. I said in my videos today, I said this just today, that time is long since expired, and this is a promises made, promises kept kind of guy that failed to meet that promise. I had a hell of a lot of folks tell me I was wrong, that Trump did not make the promise that as president-elect, he was going to end the war. So folks are coming at me right and left telling me I got Trump derangement syndrome, I hate the guy, I'm trolling. I want to get that from you folks because I don't buy that. I don't see that as being accurate that he didn't make that promise. But I want to hear it from you folks. Okay, so you know how the program is ran as always. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We are MAGA friendly. Damn it, we've always been that way for the last 3 years or so. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. You can be critical of anyone in the comment section up to and including the host. That's how free speech works. We maintain solemn promise that if we are one thing, we are a fan of free speech. So I'll go ahead and tackle the comments, take callers as we always do. Tap the screen, by the way, on TikTok. Get the likes up to about 10,000. Smash that like button on YouTube. Looking in the comments right off the bat, he is not in office just yet. Yeah, but he didn't promise that he had to be in office to end that war. The question I asked also was he making a promise that he genuinely thought he could keep, or was he simply saying something that he felt American citizens, if not many around the world, wanted to hear, stating that he could end that war in 24 hours if he was elected? Was he making a promise that he really thought he could actually achieve, or was he simply saying what he thought people wanted to hear? Going to the box, Twisted77, good evening. Welcome to the program, Twisted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. So what was Trump promising? Did I get that wrong to suggest that when he promised to end the war in 24 hours, he's failed at doing so?
I mean, he's not in office yet. What would you expect him to do until he's in office? That's kind of a stretch, don't you think?
Well,
he's not even technically president-elect yet until they certify the votes on January 6th.
So what did he promise then?
I would assume, as anybody with a rational mind would assume, that when he's in office, he could do it. Although, right after he got elected, what did we see? Russia wants to come to the table.
Well, we also heard that Hezbollah and Hamas wants to come to the table as well, but they've been talking about they wanted to come to the table long before Trump got elected, though.
Well, yeah, but who brokered the peace between them and Israel in the first place? The Abraham Accord. Where did that come from?
Wait, you're saying that Trump brokered peace between Israel and Hamas?
Yes, in his previous administration.
What good is it if it can be broken so easily, though?
Well, that's any treaty, so that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know if I totally agree with that. I don't know if he, as you're saying, brokered peace, and I certainly don't know if I agree
It
with
was
you.
the Abraham Accords. Do you not know anything about that?
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, he was bragging about it, but I don't recall them being totally peaceful during Trump's whole term either.
Okay, but they weren't at outright war either.
No, they weren't at outright war. They were in the middle of it, I guess. I mean, Russia and the Ukraine were not at outright war during Trump's term as well, but they weren't totally at peace either. Would you submit that Trump during Trump's term that the Ukraine and Russia were at total peace?
Well,
That the 2020 election was stolen
they were not
and
at
said
war.
that if re-elected.
Say that again.
I said the tensions may have been escalating, but they were not at war. Russia was not on their border during his administration.
And you're right about that. But do you believe that was because of President Trump, though?
Well, who can say that? Who knows?
Well, he's saying it. That's who can say it.
Well, he can make that claim, but I mean, again, you can't prove it or disprove it.
Okay.
Without knowing that, other people's minds, without knowing Putin's mind,
Right.
or how can we say one way or the other?
So what you're basically saying is it's not rational to somehow believe that Trump could end a war before becoming president.
Yeah, I would say that's not rational.
Any idea why he would promise to do so, though?
Yeah, if elected, that means when he gets into office. That doesn't mean as soon as the election ends. I mean, I don't know why everybody's expecting him not in office to accomplish all these things when he's not in office yet. Biden is still president.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I think a lot of it's coming from the fact that Trump may have said it. I think that's where some of this might be coming from. It's things that have came out of Trump's mouth.
Again, though, every politician makes promises when they get elected to get elected, but they don't expect them to make those promises happen the day of the election, do they?
If you say day one,
it doesn't matter what they say, but the point is they're not in office. He's not in office yet. What are you expecting of this man?
okay, I want you to hear this. This is Trump himself. Okay, hang on. I got to get my.
I will prevent and very easily World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order, and it will take me no longer than one day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along with very well.
What is he saying in your opinion?
Sounds like he's saying before he gets in office.
And how long did he say it would take to do it?
Well, 24 hours. Okay, I get what you're saying. But
Okay.
again, has he met with Zelensky? Has he met with Putin yet?
He didn't say he had to do all that. He said he's going to get it done in 24 hours.
He said he knew what to say. But again, you're holding this man to this impossible standard. Whether he said it or not doesn't really matter.
I'm holding him to a wait. He said something, and I expected him to do what he said, but because I expected him to do it, I'm holding him to an impossible standard. I'm not adding anything to his statement.
You're like, oh well, it hasn't happened in 24 hours, so he's just a liar. I mean, that's basically what you're acting like.
Is what he said true?
No, obviously.
so why are you accusing me of? You're accusing me of saying the guy's a liar.
Because you always do this shit, handsome, every single time.
I'm
not saying in this particular instance, but I'm saying on a normal basis, you play a little soundbite, and they're saying, "Oh," and then you make up your own context for it. You guys do this all the time.
Well, you got
it. The election. This is what lost the Democrats the election.
I don't
picking up these little tiny sound bites and saying, "Oh, well, what did he say here?" And well, you didn't know the context because context apparently doesn't matter.
Okay, but
make up your own.
But right? Here,
I'm not saying in this situation. I'm not saying anything about this particular situation.
So in this situation, situation, did he lie?
Not necessarily. If he believed he could do it, is that a lie? If I think I can do something and I tell you I can do it, but don't accomplish it, was I lying?
I mean, if I tell you I think I'm working with 10 inches in my pants and it's actually 5, I mean, I thought it was.
You're talking about definite there. But if you say, well, I can drive this distance in 1 hour, and it takes you an hour and 10 minutes. Were you lying?
If it's not based on anything
were you lying, yes or no?
Yeah, you're lying. Either you can do what you said or you can't. We don't
See, there's your stretch.
What are we giving them, a participation trophy?
If you make a claim and you're not able to accomplish that claim, it's not a lie to make the claim.
So what are we giving them?
You can do.
What is it?
If you think you can do something, and at the end of the day you couldn't accomplish exactly what you wanted in the time frame, it's not a lie to assume that you can do it or to think you can do it.
Okay, somebody have like a godlike complex or something?
No, it's not a godlike complex. It's just that's self-confidence, right?
How many wars end in 24 hours, Twisted? I mean, who else has done that? It is a godlike complex. Who else has done that?
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know every single war.
It would certainly make him better. It would certainly make him better and more successful than any other president that's ever ended a war, would it not?
Well, how would I know? I don't know how. You're asking.
I'm just trying to figure out why he would make such a.
What you're saying is, if you say to your friends, "Hey, I'm going to get that girl's number over there," and you fail to do it, then you were a liar. That's what you're claiming.
You did either you did it or you didn't. Yeah, you lied. Yes, you lied.
But because you couldn't accomplish something, you're a liar. Because you thought you could.
Yeah, I mean,
no, that's not how that works. Come on, get real.
I don't. So what else does he promise? So in other words, if I promise to do things, it's because I think I can, even though, and if I fail because I thought I could, none of it's a lie.
But how is it a lie to make a claim that if you can't do something, like I said, if you're trying to do something, you think you can do it, but you're unable to do it, that doesn't make you a liar.
Well, to answer your...
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It does not make you a liar. If you think you can get an A on a test and you end up with a B, you weren't lying that you thought you could get an A. You just didn't accomplish what you thought you could.
Well, based on what you're saying, Twisted, then any politician can promise anything, and at the end of the day, if they don't do it, I thought I could do it. So no politician would ever tell a lie based on what you're saying. Just say, I thought I could do it.
No. Welcome to politics, because they all do that.
He wasn't
how do you talk about politics and not know that?
I thought he was not. Wait.
Promises things
Twisted.
that they don't accomplish.
Twisted. Wasn't he elected because he is not a typical politician? Now he is?
No. See, the first time he was elected, he wasn't a politician.
So now he's
the president makes him a politician.
So,
in my mind, that's my opinion. That's you can do that what you want. But every single politician gets up there and promises things, and they don't always accomplish everything they promise. Some of them accomplish none of the things but they weren't lying. They were just trying to say, "Oh well, I can try to do this. I promise I can do this, but I don't do it." So we don't call them liars, but you call him a liar.
So how do you? What could they do? What could they actually do? Because I'm getting this from Detroit Coalition on YouTube says. Then what does make you a liar? How could you possibly lie as a politician then?
If you said, no, okay, let me think for a second.
Take your time.
If you said, I'm going to vote for this bill, and then you don't, that's a lie.
Bro, I thought I was going. Wait, let me respond to it. Okay, let me
saying that you're going to accomplish something and you don't accomplish the time frame that you're allowed isn't a lie.
Here's my response to that. Here's my response to that. You said if you say you're going to vote for a bill and you don't, that's a lie. You know, when I said I was going to vote for this bill, I really thought this bill was in the best interest of the American people. Now that I've now that I've looked into it and done my research, I don't think it is. And that's why I didn't vote for it. So is that a lie?
No, that's changing your mind.
Right.
But here's the thing. You explained why you could change your mind.
So in other words...
But again, you're holding an impossible standard here. Everything's a lie. So everything that Joe Biden said, Joe Biden's a liar, Kamala Harris is a liar, everybody's a liar, according to you, because they didn't accomplish things that they said they were going to accomplish.
I say...
They're all liars, right?
I say if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you lied. I don't care what party you're in.
Kamala Harris promised that she was going to reinstate Roe v. Wade, which was a lie because she couldn't do it.
Okay, and I agree with that. I'm not trying to defend her and say that.
So everybody in your mind is a liar. So nobody tells the truth?
No, if you promise, let's say Trump promised to bring back $2 gas. 6 months after he's in office, the gas was $1.96 a gallon. He told the truth. You either did it or you didn't. They're not saying, he didn't say wait, hold on. He didn't say I'm going to try to end the war in 24 hours. He said I'm going to do it. I know the people to talk to. He made it sound like it was a done deal. He lied.
Okay, so what? That's not a lie. If he thought he could accomplish something,
You can show me another politician.
Normal people don't think that way.
Yeah, they do.
Although I will congratulate you on Trump winning the election because you'll have something to talk about for the next 4 years.
I don't think Trump had to win for that to happen because Trump wasn't going to leave. Hold on, let me respond. You didn't let me respond. You didn't let me respond. I don't think Trump, but you still not letting me. I don't think Trump had to win for that to happen because Trump wasn't going to lead a political arena. He was still going to be involved in it. So even if he lost, he was going to say the election was stolen or he was going to be criticizing liberal candidates and their policies. He wasn't leaving. So he didn't need to win. By him winning, yeah, it probably is going to be more content because now he's going to be on TV even more. But he wasn't leaving even if he lost. Would you not agree with that?
Well, maybe.
I'll give you another one. The court cases.
Even if he had lost the election, okay, and all that crap was said and done with, lawsuits, whatever, what mind you, that's it. That would have been it for him. Gone.
No, the court cases. The court cases are going to go on for years. If he had lost, those court cases would have still been hovering around for years.
Yeah, possibly, but
possible.
They didn't hover around for years last time. I think they lasted about a year before they went away.
No, what case went away?
Most of them went away.
No,
most of them were never even heard.
No, every case against him.
How many times do you hear the 64 court cases and blah blah blah? Most of those court cases were never even looked at by those judges.
They're still the Fonnie Willis case is still there now. All of it's going away now.
But that has nothing to do with the election. Okay, that one. Okay, yeah, you're right.
The Jack Smith case was not going away if he had lost either. That's the meat and potatoes of what's going on with him. Is those two cases, Fonnie Willis and
the Jack Smith case is a whole different matter. That man should have never even been.
I'm just telling you,
appointed by Congress as per he was supposed to be.
I'm just simply saying,
much like most special counsels.
I'm just simply saying those cases were not going to go away had he lost. He won; they will go away now. But those cases were not going to be.
Cases would have ever been brought if he had not run again.
Yeah, true.
Wait a second. Before you just before he scurries away from that goalpost he just moved. Listen, Hunter Biden tried that same maneuver, and the judge completely rejected it as far as a special counsel. So are you in favor of Hunter Biden scooting out of away from justice?
Justice for what? Which
Using
case?
the same motion.
Which case are we talking about? Which case are we talking about?
Biden.
Which case?
The case that he was just found guilty.
The gun case. The gun charge.
The gun case. The gun case should have never been brought.
Yeah. Why was it brought?
I'm actually behind Hunter Biden on that one. He should have never.
Yeah. All right.
Never prosecuted that.
I got to move it on.
Gun laws are, in my opinion, are illegal.
Yeah, I got to move it on twisted, but we do agree on that I do believe some of the cases brought against Trump were mainly because he was running for office, and you're right about Hunter Biden as well. Without his father being Joe Biden, that stuff wouldn't have came to fruition either. Twisted, we don't have to agree, but I appreciate you coming through.
All right, man. I'm going.
Anytime. All right, I didn't know I had brought you up facts, but I must have hit the invite. I will certainly continue on. So what do you think about this? Now, my last guest is saying Trump didn't lie about this and all politicians do this. Do you view it as it simply was, he meant once he gets in office or whatever the case may be?
What's your last sentence? What do you mean by that?
Him saying that he's going to end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. Was he just speaking to be speaking, or how did you view when he said that?
Why, I believe he said as soon as he won the election, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, but I'm having folks tell me he didn't say that. He meant once he's in the White House.
Oh, it's interesting how you need a manganese translator to understand anything Trump says.
Well,
I'm so glad they're here.
Just for shits and giggles. I've played it already once, but real quick, I will give it a quick, because it's less than a minute, but this is Trump talking about that.
Go right ahead.
Will prevent and very easily World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine, War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order. and it will take me no longer than one day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along with very well.
Now, folks are suggesting that I was wrong to say that Trump said he would end the war in 24 hours after elected, and they're saying, no, he meant once he's in the White House. Now, based on what you're hearing there, how did you interpret it?
Certainly long before he is inaugurated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, he said before I'm in the Oval Office, and he said it would only take one day. But let me ask this question, probably to you and folks in the audience, because I see in the audience people are saying he's not in the office yet. Tim said he's not in the office yet. Well, he clearly stated he don't need to be in the office. But I do want to ask you from this standpoint: once he gets in the office, 24 hours after he's been president, do you think he could even do it then?
No, I mean, what he wants to do is get Ukraine to concede the eastern portion of Ukraine to Russia.
Yeah. And I see somebody said I voted for Trump, but he spoke out of his ass because he's got an ego. Is it possible that maybe he was simply saying this to get more votes?
Oh, sure. He's lying to lie. I mean, that's what he does, right?
Lying
and as
to
far
lie.
As yes, that's his thing. And that last guest, I mean, it's like being on a hamster wheel talking with these folks, or observing a dog with peanut butter on its tail, because all they do is they go in circles. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have they cry lawfare, yet they have no idea what any of the cases are. Most of them never have any idea of what Trump was charged with in Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, but in his defense, he talked about what Trump actually thought he could do and how that might not be lying. Mountain Loving Mama in the comments, friend of the program, she says, I don't think he was lying. I think he actually believes it, but I don't think he can do it. What about the notion that if you say something you truly believe, it's not a lie, whether you can do it or not?
I'm going to say past the prologue, because, I mean, you might be able to say that once in a while, but, I mean, come on. We've watched this guy for, 9 years now? Yeah. He's just a liar.
Yeah. And like I said to the last caller, it's like, if that's the case, any politician can make any promise whatsoever. And if they fail, just simply say, well, I thought I could do it. That's a pretty easy way out that any politician could take at that point.
And we know that he's been in communications with Putin the entire time he's been out of office. His own aides have confirmed that. Yeah.
Before I'm moving on from here, I want to ask you also about the host of MSNBC going down to meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. What does that say that after trashing Trump for the entire time he's been a politician, they're now going down to his house to meet with him?
Hypocrites.
Wow. Does that kind of view unfavorably to the network MSNBC?
Well, the network is actually controlled by a conservative now.
Really?
So that probably feeds into it. Yeah. Or is it CNN?
We're talking about MSNBC.
Yeah, I think I could be talking about CNN, but still, in any case, I listen. It's weak sauce. If you think that guy is Adolf, and you've been crying that he's Adolf for like the longest,
right?
You're going to go down and meet with him, and it wasn't on camera either.
Yeah.
If you wanted to bring it on camera and confront him and hold his feet to the fire, cool. I'm down with that.
Well, they weren't going. Well, my guess is. I mean, I don't know how they called him and even asked to meet with him, but my guess is they made it clear that when they were coming down there, they were waving the white flag, because he would not have. I mean, he don't have anything to gain at this point by meeting with them. They tend to gain anything out of this. Now, because he's not running again, maybe he could help out the Republican Party, I guess, by bringing some liberals over to the right, but he's done enough of that to win. So he personally doesn't have anything to gain to meet with them. They are the ones who have something to gain in meeting with him.
Yeah, they're the ones kissing the ring, and they're hypocrites.
All right, fair enough. I think I'm going to get a lot of folks that agree with you. I got to move it on their facts, though. Appreciate it.
Well, before you drop me, one thing you can pose to your audience is Republicans and Democrats. Should Matt Gaetz's ethics report be released to the public.
Ooh, I don't think.
Have a right to know.
I think most of the folks now on the left, the answer is obviously yes, but on the right, they're suggesting that listen, the tradition has always been if you're not in Congress, it goes away. So why are you doing it now, other than to prevent Trump from being able to appoint him?
That's actually not true. There's been precedent sets where it's been done before, and if he's going trying to move into a higher office as a United States Attorney General. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we damn straight we need to know what the hell is going on,
but at the end of the
closed doors and hotels and.
Yeah, I get your point, and while I may agree with you, the notion from the right is we've seen how much resistance Trump got out of his last administration. We want Matt Gaetz because we know he'll help Trump give us the country we want. We're not going to support anything that may hurt Matt Gaetz.
He'll bend over. But even if I was a Republican, I would not accept Matt Gaetz. I mean, like Marco Rubio, he's legitimate. He's got a legitimate resume. But Matt Gaetz, I mean, save the children. Save the children.
I don't know. I think if you were a Republican, I think you'd realize that if you try to fight to get rid of Matt Gaetz, they're going to get rid of you. So I think that might change if you're a Republican. I got to move it on, though.
Well, I need a real Republican. Have a good one, buddy.
You too? All right. He said a real Republican. All right. I do want to address a couple super chats I did. I seen Will G. Will G never disappoints. He says Trump ain't ish. Essentially saying Trump ain't shit. Will G's no fan of Trump. Thank you for that super chat, by the way. He also says it depends on how the cases go away. Is what Jack Smith trying to figure out. He will most likely dismiss or stay the case until Trump is out. Well, Jack Smith is already going to resign, but that was in regards to my statement earlier that if Trump had not got reelected, those court cases were going to continue on. Those cases were not going to go away. Now that he's president, they absolutely will, but they were not going to go away if Trump had not gotten reelected. I mean, he still has the E. Jean Carroll's appeal. That's still in existence. I mean, he's still appealing the 34 felony case with Alvin Bragg. That's still in existence. Then, of course, there is Fani Willis. Who knows what the outcome of that will be? Keep in mind, even if the notion is that Fani Willis, with her, relationship with her co-prosecutor, whatever the hell, even if that is somehow leads to getting rid of Fani Willis, they can always appoint somebody else over that case. The case doesn't have to go away just because Fani Willis does. And then, of course, Jack Smith. Now, all of this shit's gone now that he's president, but I am pointing out that if he had a loss, he would have been dealing with that stuff probably for the rest of his life. I mean, a good chunk of his life. Will G says, Biden is literally holding the line in Ukraine with supplies. All Trump wants to do is appease Putin. I normally would agree with that, but after Putin put explicit pictures of Melania on state TV in Russia, I don't know if their relationship is that good anymore. I don't know if Trump is trying to appease him. I'd have to see more. I mean, now, oddly enough, Trump, who gets in fights and will defend himself against anybody. I don't care if it's a high school child that goes viral, criticizing Trump. The Trump we come to know and love will go back after that person that's offended him. Why he hasn't said anything about Putin doing that, it does kind of speak volumes. Yeah, Denkow, appreciate the hat and mustache. Why hasn't Trump said anything about Putin, Russia putting explicit pictures of his wife on state TV? That is a good question to ask. Let me go back to the comment section. But do you really love him, sis? Love him, mama. When I say Trump is the president we've come to know and love, I mean the country as a whole. Of course, there are people in the country that don't like him, but he won even the popular vote. The country wants him back. So, at the end of the day, there's never going to be any issue where all of us agree on, such as America loves Christianity. That doesn't mean everybody in the country is Christian. Appreciate your comment. Going back to the box, we'll start it out with Denkow. Good evening, Denkow. Welcome to the program. So I guess I would ask you, 24 hours, Denkow. Did I get that wrong? Did he actually mean when he's in the White House, he would end that war?
No, we just heard what the man said. We just heard what he said. The man sat up there and listened to the thing. He heard it and he said, well, that don't mean nothing. once you caught him in the corner, he came out with the old, thing that like they used to do on Sanford and Son when him and Esther used to get into a fight. When they, either one of them didn't have nothing left to say, they just say, "Well, your mama."
No, you would say, I think it's the big one, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, something like that.
Right. Just go totally and just say, well, that's not really a lie. Like, yeah, it is. That's exactly what a lie is.
Yeah. What about the notion it was just him boasting, he got a big ego and all of that?
Well, what the problem with that is that where's the line? When do we know he's lying? When do we know he's joking? When do we know he's telling the truth? You can't put all of these things on the table and pick and choose and tell the rest of us to know when a lie is a lie. Like, we listen to the man. He said, I don't even have to be in the White House. He said.
Yeah, he did say that.
Within 24 hours, he said, I know the people. I know them well. He's and I'm going to add this. He's talked to both of them since then.
Has he talked? Yeah, he has talked to. He did talk to Zelensky. He's claiming that Biden hasn't talked to Putin in 2 years. So does he get credit for at least he is reaching out?
No, you don't. There we go with the participation trophies.
I'm trying.
He talked to Kim Jong-un. Yeah, he talked to him. Yeah, I mean, talking. I guess talking is progress, even though you don't make no progress. But yeah, we give him credit from going places, even though he goes there and criticizes.
Well, he's kind of like what's a Star Trek? They boldly go where no man is gone, and he does it. And real quick in the comments, well, he does. Louis Desjardins says, "Justice delayed is justice denied. Any other person would have been run through the system fairly, but promptly." He's talking about President Trump, whereas he was able to delay the cases infinitely, and now he's going to escape them. I
agree. I agree. He has figured out a loophole in the system that we all didn't know existed because we never had money like that. But he's figured out a system to where if you have enough money, you can take it. It doesn't matter what it is. You can just take just about any federal case all the way up to the Supreme Court. I mean, you can take state cases all the way up to the Supreme Court, and if you have them in your pocket, you can get away with anything.
I think it's a little bit more than that. I actually believe that a lot of this should be, as opposed to blaming Trump, it should be placed on the shoulders of what the hell is the guy that Obama tried to appoint? Merrick Garland. Because Merrick Garland, because Trump is a former president, Merrick Garland was handling him with kid gloves. I believe that gave Trump a huge window of time and opportunity that even somebody like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or somebody would have been getting prosecuted and the system would have been rolling on. But he was handling Trump with kid gloves for so damn long. By the time he was deciding to make a move, he didn't have enough time left.
Well, I don't know that he would have. I just don't know. We don't know because we haven't seen the extent of this strategy. Even you admit that even if he would have lost the election, these things would have still went on for probably years before we would have come to some conclusion, because he's always got appeals, and as long as he's got appeals that go up to a place where he's protected, I don't know. I believe he's found a niche in the system that many people were sure to follow. Other people with less money, like Giuliani. It caught up with him.
They threw Giuliani in the trash. Hopefully Trump, tosses him a bone. I see in the comments though, because we're talking about participation trophies. Laser 1011 says, but participation awards are a liberal creation. That is not true. I will submit to you, anytime you see a Confederate statue of a war general, that is a participation trophy. You lost. Why do you get all these statues? The Confederate statues, in my humble opinion, that is the original participation trophy. How many other losing sides get their generals and everybody awarded? When have you ever seen that happen where the second place get everybody from the war getting trophies and shit like that? So I would submit to you that the Confederacy is probably the original participation trophies, because they certainly came in second place. But some folks have a difference.
And even Lincoln himself, like, he gets credit for freeing the slaves, but that's not really, you know what I'm saying? It kind of ended up like that. And he gets credit for it, but that's not what he did. And he wrote about it.
Yeah.
And we know about it.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, the same person says a statue is not an award. That's literally what they hand you at the end of winning, is the fucking statue. What do you mean a statue is not an award? That is literally what they give you when you win a championship.
Is Michael Jordan's statue outside the United Center not a trophy, is not an award?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's literally what they hand you. A statue is an honor to what you likely have accomplished. Statue is not an award. Okay. I have never heard that before. So then, Cal, let me ask you also, the notion that the host of MSNBC are going down to meet with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. What the hell is that? Are they coming across as hypocrites?
I mean, they got a business to run, man.
Come on, really?
They got a bit. We listen to Fox News do the same thing when they after January 6th. We seen their text messages.
Text messages is one thing. They did this shit somewhat publicly. They didn't film it, but I don't know. You putting that in the same category?
You have to go. You can't secretly go to him because he outs you. If you do that,
you called a man Adolf, and now you at his crib.
And he called them the enemy of the state. He called them the enemy of the country.
It does work in reverse. Yeah, it does work in reverse too.
He's a transactional person.
Yeah, but
he's a transactional, and now he's running around talking about he's gonna put them all in jail. Yes, go there, talk to him. See if you can keep the balls rolling.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing else to lose.
Yeah, but I don't know, then, Careful. For all intents and purposes, I think Trump has the pieces in place to be a great president. If he just doesn't do some of the things
listen, he's always had the pieces in place to be a great president. He just chose not to.
Maybe he's different now. Maybe should we give a man a chance? Come on, give peace a chance.
What's the saying about power? Absolute power corrupts people. Absolutely. Like the more power he gets does not make him a better person. But now he's on the revenge tour. Nothing about what he is.
I don't know. Let me put on the MAGA hat for me. Let me just say this. The first term, he had a reason to be hateful and do things because he was trying to get reelected. The second term is all about legacy. His legacy, maybe he don't want it to be that he was revenge and hateful. If he unites the country, he could go down in history as one of the most, he's got the popular vote, something Republicans don't normally accomplish. He got the Hispanic male vote, something I don't know if Republicans have ever accomplished. He has the potential in his hands. You don't think he might utilize that for good?
Look at his cabinet picks and the people he's surrounding himself and ask yourself that question. Even to the MAGA people. Look at sexual predators.
Damn.
I'm talking about at the top of the cabinet. We got Stephen Miller in the background lurking. He's still listening to Steve Bannon, Roger Stone. Like these dudes are out of like a Batman movie out of what's the name of that city that they live in?
Gotham.
Yeah, out of Gotham City. Like he's putting a penguin in charge of national security. He's in there like, wah, 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 wah. Like, dude, this guy is, yeah. You sure we not
overdoing it? I seen the comments. I think it's Quinn says, do anyone think Trump shared any information with Putin from the documents he had at Mar-a-Lago? Now, you don't think he would sell us out to Putin like that, do you?
I don't know necessarily about that. I think he shared information prior to the whole document situation when he put out the stenographer, the person that takes notes, and he met with those people in the White House. I believe that.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
To gain favor. Before he became the president, he was about to build the biggest resort in Moscow, and he was going to give Putin the top floor, which was like tens of millions of dollars, high-rise apartment. Like they've had dealings in the picture.
Yeah, but you don't do something like this that is downright treasonous. I don't know. You really think he's capable of doing that?
Well, I think. Look, they said he's a businessman, And I believe that. Like that's what he does. And I believe he believes the country is a business. And I believe he believes that if he possesses the country, that he can utilize the country to conduct business. I don't think any other way. I don't think he's in it because of a guy that lives in Ohio who has a job at Lordstown Factory. I don't think he gives two craps about me.
All right, Dink, I gotta move it on, but you certainly putting him in a very low light. I mean, you putting him in even lower light than I thought you would. Damn.
I said he's a businessman. How is that putting him in a low light?
Because you, even as a businessman, you can commit crimes. You can't sell company secrets. If you work at Coke, you can't sell the secrets of Pepsi. That ain't business. That's a crime.
Well, we already got the recording of him saying that he took documents that he shouldn't have had. Like, why do we have to keep having this conversation? We heard him say, I could have declassified them, but I didn't.
Yeah, but now we talking about sharing them with an adversary, though, Dinka. That's worse.
He shared them with somebody who was not authorized. That is. Look, people go to jail every day for that.
Appreciate it. I don't know. I get that. But sharing it with Putin, I mean, people believe this guy really loves this country. To do something like that, could be. I mean, wouldn't that be punishable by death?
Well, what about when he shared nuclear secrets with that Australian billionaire just to brag to him?
All right.
What about that?
All right.
He went and shared it with all his other billionaire friends. What about that? What is that? Is that treason?
It doesn't.
To share nuclear secrets with somebody just because you want to prove that you want to boast about how powerful you are?
I have no response. Dinko,
right.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on. Yeah. Wow. I mean, sharing them with Vladimir Putin, though. Wow. But he is right. If you're sharing it with one, you would share. Who knows who the hell you might share it with? Not to mention, if you share it with someone else, now they possibly could be valuable to those countries because of what they've seen. Real quick in the comments, 100% the reason he got in the documents trouble is the mindset. These are mine, and Putin is an enemy of the U.S., not of Trump. And that's what Louis Desjardins said. He said the reason that Trump got the documents personally, the reason why Trump got in the documents trouble is because he had the mindset that these are mine. And they pointed out that, Putin is indeed an enemy of the United States, but he is not an enemy of Trump's. And I think that's what my last caller was saying as well. Did he not share information with Putin during the state meeting? Well, it's speculation. There's no evidence to guarantee that. Otherwise, he should have been charged on that. But I don't know. I think MAGA's fairly loyal to Trump, and a lot of folks were fairly pissed off with the Biden-Harris administration. To some degree, I kind of hesitate to say that even if Trump had shared a few secrets with Putin and it came out and people knew about it, he still may have won. A lot of folks really did not like the Biden-Harris administration, and Trump has a lot of loyal support. I think Trump has about 30 to 35% of the voting electorate, no matter what. Them folks ain't leaving. At least 30% out of all of us that vote, about 30% of that group are not leaving Trump no matter what the hell happens. So he didn't need many more votes to beat Kamala Harris. If you got 30, you only need 21% more. That'll give you 51%. Trump will not help himself. He is too much of a material girl. I remember that Madonna song from the 80s. That's one of my jams, but I'm trying to figure out what do you mean by that? Trump will not help himself. He is too much of a material girl. I don't understand how you can say that because he did so well in the election. He clearly helped himself. The Blue Baron, appreciate that, friend of the program. Who did you vote for? Handsome. I went for Kamala, and boy, was I wrong. I mean, listen, my choice was solely because Trump was promising to give police immunity in cities like where I live in. I didn't hear nothing about the economy, gas prices, ending the war, solving, the immigration crisis. When he started talking about giving police immunity from prosecution in the neighborhoods I live in and the streets I drive on, and I didn't think Trump was terrible. I still believe that Trump's economy was something that, America did all right under. I don't know if we are dealing with all of these international conflicts because of Biden, but they weren't happening under Trump. I know a lot of my MAGA folks believe I bashed the shit out of Trump. I get it. But I don't believe everything about Trump is bad. But I do want my Fourth Amendment rights protected. My Fourth Amendment rights to me are just important, and they should be just important to you as your Second Amendment rights. We often hear when it comes to Elon Musk, what he did with Twitter and created X, he's protecting the First Amendment. Obviously, we hear about the liberals threatening your second. Well, if he's promising to bring back stop and frisk and give police immunity from prosecution, that's your Fourth Amendment right. Why are you okay with some rights being protected and others not? Now, many have told me, well, at the end of the day, if stop and frisk or giving police immunity lowers crime, then I'm for it. To me, that sounds exactly like a liberal saying, well, maybe if you take away gun rights, it'll lower shootings. You don't like that, do you? So I'm not a fan of that. And that's what got me. I mean, at that point, it really didn't matter what else was said or done. And I was preaching it on the program many, many nights that once Trump started talking about giving police immunity from prosecution, that was it for me. And I'm hoping beyond hope, just like with ending the Ukraine-Russia war in 24 hours, I am really hoping that was something he was just joking about or won't accomplish as well. But he did promise, and I've played the clip many times. Will G says, remember, he declassified the docs with his mind. He would definitely use that power now. And he did say that on Sean Hannity, that I could declassify documents simply by thinking about them. Wow. Somebody mentioned earlier, before I go back to the box, and by the way, tap the screen. I haven't solicited that. We should be at about 20,000, Thou. Get the likes up to about 20,000. Show the program some love. Let your thumbs not be lazy. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. If you favor this civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, DJ Julio, appreciate that. If you favor civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle, I would ask that you follow the program. For my TikTok viewers, follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube, if you will. We are here Monday through Friday. Trump is a prima donna. Will G, you're turning the guy into a female right in my face. Handsome, have you noticed how right after the election, Trump was about 6 million votes up in the popular vote? Now he's only about 2 million votes up. Where are all those Democrat votes coming from? It's a good question. They should have to explain that. I don't know. I'm obviously not in the polling business. I mean, people vote by mail and overseas and things like that. But if the notion is the Democrats are cheating, it makes no sense. Trump has won. He's won. So it would make no sense for Democrats to be behind the scenes cheating at this point. Where are the votes coming from? I mean, I suppose you could ask the legislators in those states. But keep in mind, when they said that the Democrats cheated in the last election, it was in states that were Republican states that, better yet, in a country where Trump was in control. So Trump had all the levers of power, and they're claiming that the Democrats somehow took it from under him. I don't know. I'll go back to the box, though. What does that say? We need a recount altogether. Why? I don't think the Republicans would want to recount at this point. Why would you want to recount an election you won? I think they would be happy just leaving it at that. Going back to the not only did you win, but the Democrats have conceded the loss. So why would you want to recount? Michael, good evening. Welcome to the program, Mike. It all worked out for the best, says old boy 7-3. So far, so good. But Trump hasn't served the day yet. So we got to see what happens. Michael, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
None, you know what I always say, hanging around like Mike Pence on January 6th.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm asking, he could end the war in 24 hours. Was that just taken out of context?
No, it wasn't taken out of context. Look, what was his name? Twisted 77. Twisted. Whatever, yeah. It's always moving the goalposts. Like that's what he said, and he hasn't done it. But anyone with common sense would have known that he wasn't. But when you run on it, when you say it so often, like you have this magic wand and people believe it. Yeah. It can't be one of those things that you stand on as a major part of your campaign that you're going to end this conflict in 24 hours and then it not happen, and then you want to move the goalposts. It's absolutely absurd. Like all of this has been. It's all been absurd.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I had an issue because I got hammered. That's the reason why I made that the topic today. Is I got hammered by people who were saying that, look, he didn't say that he hasn't been in office yet. You're pushing it. How the hell could you expect him to do something he's not president yet? And my response was, I expect him to do it because that's what he said. He clearly stated, before I am in the Oval Office, I will have this thing solved, and it won't take me but one day to do it. And all of a sudden, me holding him account to what he promised is all of a sudden I'm the one that's stretching it. He made a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think somebody in the comments saying, did he say could or will? No, it was definitive. He said he will get it done. It's not, and we got to stop parsing and all this. That's what he said. Even when you show someone a video, then they want to say, well, you're taking it out of context.
Well, let's just for shits and giggles, like you said, even when you show someone a video, but for shits and giggles, since it's less than a minute, let's do exactly that. We're going to show someone the video.
I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order, and it will take me no longer than one day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along very well with them.
I don't know how much more. I mean, you can't take that out of context. It's so damn clear. I mean, so this is one where, folks will say, well, we need to hear the whole video, or this one is so clear, there's not much to add to it.
It's all good. But like the other guest said, when you're speaking manganese, you may not necessarily understand it.
What is manganese?
Well, clearly we're not speaking the same language because I know what I just heard.
Yeah.
But, and it's sad. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
And I think I sent you again. Have you heard the duty to warn? Have you read that duty to warn letter yet?
No, I think give me what you're talking about because I think somebody else asked me about this.
Yeah, so the duty to warn letter that goes out to presidential candidates if there
he was told about was it the pandemic or the pending attack? Yeah, I did hear about that. But keep going. I did hear about it. I think I know what you're talking about now.
So they introduced it into law back in I think 2014. I know it was, but anyway, so the candidates get anytime there's a potential discrepancy in the voting results, the candidates get a duty to warn letter from the agencies that are counting the elections. If there's any security breach or any of that out there, have you read it yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I want you to read it. I want you to leave it at that. So, I brought that up to say this. You asked, was there anything like what you were talking to someone else? You talked about redeemable. Are these things would Trump sell us out to Putin or Russia? Yeah. And the answer is, if it served his best interests, absolutely. If it served his best interests, absolutely.
You think he would sell out the country to serve himself?
Absolutely.
Then I gotta defend Trump and ask, what is making you say that? What has he done in the past that would make you say he would do something so deplorable?
Well, we already talked about the documents. We already talked about J6. We already talked about him sending Putin COVID machines. I just seen behavior that doesn't tell me that it's about America. It's about him first. It's about him first. Listen. Okay, let me ask you this, Tim. I just want to because you said it earlier. If all the things that I just said have happened, now people want to discuss whether
in the middle of Fifth Avenue is my answer.
In the middle of Fifth Avenue, it's all happened. So why do we continue to act as if what we're seeing is not real? Look at his cabinet choices. Everybody wants to we know who Stephen Miller is. We know who Holman is. We know who these people are. Why are we acting like their resumes don't represent who they actually are? When Elon Musk just said, I'm gonna say this, and then I want you to look at that letter. When Elon Musk said a few weeks ago when he was on with Tucker Carlson, and he said, "Man, Trump better win," because he was talking about If he doesn't win, he probably end up going to prison. You saw the interview, right?
No, who was saying that? Tucker? Oh, you mean Trump was probably going to prison?
No. Elon Musk said that on an interview with Tucker Carlson about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago. He said, "Man, he better win."
I did.
Why would he say that? Even in jest, why would you say that?
Because let me put on my MAGA hat again. Because they believe the liberal media was going to continue promoting those witch hunts and railroad Trump, and he was ultimately going to get caught. Remember, they believed that up to and including the president was in on the fix to go after Trump. So if he lost, he's a citizen going after the entire weight of the Justice Department. So maybe Elon Musk saw that look, if he don't win, they're going to use the whole weight of the Justice Department and throw this guy in jail.
Or maybe he knows what they're doing behind the scenes with this election. Or, listen, I said it. I never said it publicly. I never said it a lot because I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all.
Okay.
But you got to pay attention to what's going on.
What do you mean?
What did Elon do when he jumped into behind the support with Trump? He threw a whole lot of money. He started using his technology. He started doing this whole.
Wait. Is that a surprise? I mean, the world's richest man. If the world's richest man start hanging out with me, don't fucking hang out with me if you're gonna share no money. That's the number one thing I expect to happen. Is my life is about to get wealthier. That's what you would expect. Yeah.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna stop because again, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I do read a lot, Tim, a lot.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, yes, I believe Trump would sell this country out for whatever served his purpose.
Wow. But
I believe that.
What about the notion that by him teaming up with Elon, because a lot of the liberals want this electric car technology to take off. He's the guy that literally brought it to us. Now that he has, he's in cahoots with Trump and has the whole weight of the federal government behind him. You can start seeing all kinds of advances in electric vehicles. I mean, the Starlink, you're talking about the value of that, space travel. Trump created, what is it called? The Space Force or whatever the hell they call that. Now you got Elon, who's already promised to put folks on Mars. Them two working together, man, they could really accomplish a lot.
Or they could really tear up shit. See, but listen, again.
Look, they're going to say you got Trump derangement syndrome, don't you?
But you know what? I know what they're going to say, but all I do is look at the evidence. We have zero evidence. That they're going to do anything for all American people, for the man. We have zero evidence of that. And every time he makes an appointment to his cabinet, it further tells you that they're not interested in the betterment of all people. Every single time. You can't have white supremacists part of your cabinet. And I told you this before. You can't have them part of your cabinet and tell me that they're all of a sudden going to be something that they're not and help all people. I'm not buying it.
But are you 100% sure? 100% certain the people you're calling white supremacists are actually white supremacists?
I'm very confident. And here's the thing, like I told you before, if you had to tell me if I had to just take a guess, first of all, I'm 100% confident, but if I had to take a guess, I have to go with my lowest common denominator, which I need to go over here. Just like you said with your vote. You were a one-issue voter, correct?
That was frightening. Just like the Second Amendment, or just like abortion. Some folks, one issue is all you need.
Exactly. They've already shown me everything that I need. Project 2025 is real now, isn't it? We spent months. They're still, even though they've made some appointments that are right out the book, they're still denying Project 2025, though. I didn't say what they're denying. I said, on these lives, you've had guests on here that continue to act like it wasn't a thing, it never happened, he didn't know anything about it. He even said, I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. Now we know that it was a complete lie. He knows everything about it. The people he's appointing know everything about it. And
yeah, but that doesn't mean Trump was not being honest when he said it, though, does it?
No, 100%, because like I told you before, in Project 2025, there are executive orders by number that Trump implemented before. I told you this isn't new. But people don't want to accept that because they don't want to read it. Because if you read it, then and they can't. because it will completely destroy everything that they've been thinking up to this point. I told you that, Tim.
Yeah, you did. But until you, I will say this, despite his appointments coming right out the book, I'm not denying that. Until you really start seeing it become the law of the land, it's still somewhat speculation, is it not?
Absolutely. Listen, do you want to wait till it's law of the land?
I don't think we have a choice. I don't think we have a choice, Mike. It's kind of
no. You asked me, do I believe it? See, I don't need that confirmation to believe it, because you can't be that disconnected to something, but you're so close to it. It's absurd, and they wouldn't. And here's the thing. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Everything we're talking about, they held Kamala Harris to such a high. She couldn't have got away with a. Can you imagine? If you change the
but
name?
that's not Trump's fault. That's not the Republicans' fault. That is the Democrats' fault for not giving their candidate the kind of leeway that Trump and his supporters would give him. I mean, that's the Democrats' fault.
I agree with you. You won't get no argument from me.
All right.
You won't get no argument from me there. But I tell you what, he is not to be trusted, not to be trusted, not to be trusted.
He is. But at the end of the day, he is your commander-in-chief, sir. I gotta move on.
Not yet.
Hey, unless he gets sick and dies, he is the president.
Not yet.
2 months.
You remember I told you. You remember I told you that, Tim. You remember I told
Wait
you.
a minute. What the hell are you trying to say? Because I see in the comments, Sativa's sisters also say not yet. What are you alluding to?
No. Read, Google and read what I just told you to go read. Not yet.
Oh my God. All right.
Now listen.
Real quick.
Once you read it, because we DM'd earlier. Once you read it, DM me.
All right.
We don't need to do it on live. Once you read it, DM me.
And I'm reading you're not talking about the duty report. What are you telling me to read again?
Duty to warn letter that came out. It was 2 letters. One was November 13th and one was November 15th. Read them both. And people, listen, nobody got to believe anything I'm saying. Just go read it. Duty to warn letter.
All right.
Google it. It's going to pop up.
I'm curious like that monkey. I got to go. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Moving on with the program. Duty to warn letter. Anybody else read that? Anybody else agree with what my last caller was saying? The duty to warn letter. Trusted Joe and still do. He told Ukraine, go break some crap in Ukraine. And by the way, have you guys heard? I'm sure you have, because I did a video on it myself. Because it was all about Trump talking about ending the war in 24 hours. This weekend, Biden gave the Ukrainians authorization to use U.S.-made missiles to hit targets deep in Mother Russia, which is why I kind of, use that as a, entry to so much to end in the war in 24 hours is actually getting bigger. You, sir, need, thank you for that heart, appreciate that. Continue, you, sir, need coffee. Going back to the box, by the way. Bringing them up. Good evening, you, sir. I was a Democrat 24 years ago, says my loving mama. 24 years ago, that's 2000. So what, did you vote for Al Gore? You, sir, good evening.
Hi. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. What am I getting wrong? I saw you in the comments, and thank you, DJ Julio. Wow, thank you. What am I getting wrong there?
Well, I didn't get the chance to hear what he was saying at the very end. But we have spoken before, and
yes.
We have spoken about veterans and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I did vote for Harris because that was my main thing.
Now you're Hispanic, or you're married to someone Hispanic, if I'm correct, right?
I'm Hispanic, yes.
Okay.
I served 16 years. I am medically retired, and I deployed 3 times to Iraq.
So you have your spouse or something. You've had some issues in addition to this, correct?
Yes, my husband passed away on our last deployment when we were coming back 2 weeks prior. Coming back. Now
you're a citizen. 16 years. You are a citizen of America, correct?
Yes, I was born in Texas. Yes, sir.
Do you feel any way what Trump is promising will affect you at all on immigration?
Not on immigration. I've been here. We're like 3rd, 4th generation here.
Anybody you know?
People that I know, yes. People that I know that have been here, only 1st generation. They were born here, 1st generation and stuff like that. And my other concern was VA benefits. Like I said, I'm medically retired. I'm 100% disabled from my injuries that I got on my different deployments. And, just hearing that they might take those benefits away, it's
I'm hearing folks suggest that Trump would never do that to combat veterans, take away, or veterans in general, take away benefits. If he's going to go after an entity or something, you think he would really start with the vets?
Well, I believe Ramaswamy was put in a different, it's a different department or a different agency that they're doing for waste funds or whatever. And I saw a video of him, I think it was this last weekend, talking about cutting $180 billion of VA benefits.
But
so he feels that is wasteful.
But that's Ramaswamy. Now, you think Trump would, I mean, because obviously if you think Trump would let him do that though?
Well, some people say that it still has to go through the Congress and stuff like that, which is true. But the Congress looks red right now. So whatever Mr. Trump says, and it feels like it might help with wasteful spending.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. But Trump has been fairly pro-veteran. I haven't really heard the veterans having any issue with him. Let me ask you something real quick. Even though you are a veteran, the fact that you're Hispanic is what I'm kind of interested in. I mean, I have to ask, because you, as a Hispanic, you had the right, being a citizen, you have the right to vote, even though you voted for Kamala Harris. Why did so many Hispanics go for Trump, in your opinion?
I think from what I have heard and listened and stuff, there's two major issues. The majority of the Hispanics are either Catholic and heavily Christian, and abortion is a major thing for them. And the other thing is economy. They don't look at anything else but whatever they can get in their pockets and nothing else.
Wow.
And
so even if it turns out, and I'm speculating here, I don't know if this is going to happen under Trump, but I'm speculating, even if some of the deportations turn out to be somewhat inhumane, they put their own pocketbooks and their own economy over what could be inhumanity towards people that they know and love.
Well, actually, two of my brother-in-laws, voted against their own parents, basically.
How so?
Well, there's different things that, like they're already retired, then Social Security, different things that are on the line, basically, like veteran benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, things like that. So from what I have spoken to them, it's they don't really care.
Wow. Now, you were born in America. Did you say you were born here?
Yes, I was born here in the United States.
Fair enough. Let's see in the comments. Mon Lover Mama says, "Don't purposely try to scare people, Tim. Let's just see." Well, it's not me trying to scare people. It's what's being said.
It's what has been said. Yes.
He
has openly said about it over and over and over and over and over again. This is not something new, or that's something that he has under the sleeve or anything. He has actually told these people that he's planning to do these things. And let's not forget, back in 1932, in the state of California, New Mexico, and Arizona, deported over 1 million people.
Okay, my caller must have got a call. I'll give her a second. But,
Yeah.
Go ahead. You said deported over 1 million people back in 1932.
Yes. Yeah, you can look it up. It's in the history books. They thought it was the Hispanic people were causing the Great Depression, and they deported people to Mexico because they were brown. And there was a repatriation in the 1960s, which it didn't apply to most of them. Over 90% of the people that were deported to Mexico, they were U.S. citizens.
Really?
Yes, look it up. You have a laptop right now? Just look it up.
Wow. And I see in the comments he doubled down today about activating the military for mass deportation. So, I mean, well, your brothers and sisters in the military may be part of this. I'm still curious, like, was the economy he was offering? Now, if what he's saying is true, and I see it like when Mount Liver Mama said, don't be trying to scare people. But what I'm saying is, if what he is saying is true, was $2 gas really that good of a trade-off for that? Because that, I don't know. Go ahead. What you say?
Actually, if you look at the prices, there was not much difference, and they just not forget that we were under a pandemic for half of his presidency. So gas prices are going to go low. I mean, but it's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it. To me, the people that I live around in my community, it's what benefits all of us. It's just not just myself and my family. So there were several things for me or as a family on the line, like I said, Social Security, VA benefits.
But you would agree the border under Biden was not very secure, would you not? I mean, would you agree that the border needs to be better secured than what Biden was doing? I guess that's the way I'm trying to ask this.
100%. Remember, we have spoken before. I told you I live in Brownsville, Texas. I live in a border town. And the majority of these things, if you guys can look it up, by South Paddy Island, I live right on the border. There was never that crisis. Now, these people are asking for refugee, which is not illegal.
Yeah.
Then in that case, we need to go back to the writing board and have Congress fix it.
Well, they gonna fix it. Now that Trump is in control of the Congress and Senate, they gonna fix it all right. You might not like what they do, but I guarantee there's gonna be some fixing coming down the line.
Well, yeah, and 100%, I don't agree. I agree with that. Our borders should be protected and secure, 100%. I just think that they were doing about it and they were hyping it. It was not really that big of a deal that they were saying. There were instances, yes, but like here in Texas, Abbott had a lot to do with the hyping of all of that stuff.
He did a really good job. For folks on the right, my beloved MAGA folks, shout out to you. Governor Abbott and Ron DeSantis a little bit, busting those immigrants up north. That really was worth its weight in gold. I got some machine going in the background, but that was worth its weight in gold. Last, before I'm moving on from you, I wanted to ask you, do you support the mass deportation of folks that are either here undocumented or illegally? Do you believe that they should be just rounded up and put out?
Well, if we're looking at the economy side, that will not benefit us at the end of the day. Who's going to have those jobs in the fields? Anybody? Is anybody volunteering for that? Because I don't think so. Wow. There's been ranchers that have been interviewed and said,
"Yeah, I saw that.
U.S. citizens to work for us at 20 cents per bucket."
Yeah, I saw that. I saw one rancher. I was watching one of them ranchers, and they asked him, "Well, what about if you paid people better?" And he stated it wouldn't matter what you pay. He said Americans are not going to show up and work in these harsh environments for
exactly.
They're just not going to do it.
So who's going to do it? Because we need food, we need all this stuff. Actually, we have cattle farms too. Who's going to do those jobs?
Well,
because I mean, unless it's undocumented, they're doing the jobs that we don't want. All we have to do is, work together as a community. If they're not doing anything illegal and they're not hurting the community,
but they're in the country. If they're in the country illegally, that's what they did illegal. People were saying they don't have to commit an additional crime. Just coming in the country illegally is all you need.
Well, do you remember back in '85, or I think it was Ronald Reagan? He did an amnesty.
Yeah.
A lot of people that were undocumented were able to fix their papers, and they have become good citizens to the United States. So what's the big issue of not doing that? I know that
a couple reasons. I think the sheer number of them under Biden, and maybe that some of the countries they came from came in unvetted. Some folks believe some of these folks are coming straight out of insane asylums and prisons. Different day and age. It ain't 1985 anymore. I think it's just a different leader. Trump is a different guy than Reagan was. But I got to move it on as always.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. You have a great day. Always nice talking to you.
Appreciate it. Same. Thank you for your service as always. Come back anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Looking in the comments real quick. Will G says California is, and Will G, you had said earlier that one reason the votes are continuing to change is because some states are still counting their votes. In some of the votes, some of the places like California, 97, 98% have been counted. So what Will is stating is that there are still votes being counted. For folks who are wondering why is the number still changing, apparently all the votes have not been counted. Will G also said California is a big state and all the votes must be counted until the very last one, which is what I was kind of alluding to, and that's exactly what he said. I do want to address another super chat. All the big blue states are still counting. They are at 96 and 97% reporting. So that could still mean tens of thousands of votes. 3% of a state like California, that's going to be a lot of votes. I don't know how many millions of voters there are in California, but 3% is going to be thousands of votes. Ed G says the Democrats worshiped Elon Musk to take down the gas car industry. Now Musk is crazy and evil. Just shows Democrats just fearmonger and throw you under the bus. Ed G, thanks for the super chat. Now let me read this real close again. The Democrats worshiped Elon Musk. Was that happening? Really? You think we were eating? I don't see that. Elon Musk was endorsing Ron DeSantis before Trump, so I don't know how far back you're going to suggest the Democrats worshiping Elon Musk. To take down they worship Elon Musk to take down the gas car industry. Now they did want him to do that. That is true. They wanted Elon to promote the electric vehicle and take down the gas car industry. He says now Musk is crazy and evil. Just shows the Democrats just fearmonger and throw you under the bus. I could bring up the Dixie Chicks. I could bring up a host of folks that may have been favored by the right, and then the minute they got on the wrong side of a right-wing issue, people didn't like them either. I get your point. The Democrats were favorable to Elon Musk and his electric cars, but the minute he started endorsing Republicans, everything was retracted. I'm going to assume there was a hell of a lot of Republicans that liked Taylor Swift until she did that. So I don't totally disagree with you, but that's how politics works. When you have positions like Elon Musk and Taylor Swift, in my opinion, if you care about your bottom line, you probably shouldn't get involved in politics. I mean, Taylor Swift obviously did, and Elon Musk is really in it full. Elon Musk is in it full throat. So probably shouldn't get in. Like Michael Jordan was known as saying, "Look, Republicans buy shoes too." I mean, if he could say what he wants about the Republican Party, and all of a sudden his shoes may only be purchased by Democrats. Sometimes it might not be best to get involved in it. Will G says January 6th is plenty enough to say Trump is for himself and not the country. Did you see the neo-Nazis marching in Columbus, Ohio? Yes, I did. Wow. Yes, I did see that. Literally marching down the street with swastikas waving around the flag there. Wow. I don't know why that still exists. I don't know what the goal of that is other than to make hate great. I don't know what they're doing, but I did see that. And weren't they in Nashville a few months back, roaming around the streets in Nashville. Ed G, Will G is responding to Ed G until they all found out Elon was a creep and basically stacked up on government subsidies on top of being illegal in the states and lying about it. But Trump will let him stay. Elon Musk, you're saying Elon Musk is here illegally? Can a multi-billionaire even be that? I mean, at the end of the day, I know this one, but I'll go back to the box, but at the end of the day, I know this when I used to live overseas. If you got enough money, you can basically buy your way into most countries. As long as you don't have a huge criminal record of sorts. And I would submit to you, even a lot of that might go away if you got enough money. But if you got enough money, you can buy your way into a host of countries. Like when I moved over to Australia, I moved over there to open up a business, but I didn't have tons of money. I had a number of properties and I was getting out of in Chicago, but I forget I think it was $1 million at the time. This is back in 2005. If you were willing to invest, I think $1 million into the Australian government, and let them hold it for, I think it was 5 years, that was enough to get you residency. So just $1 million, because I thought about it. I'm like, well, shit, if I can put 3 or 4 properties together, and I thought about, I can just do it that way. I mean, because it's quick. Because I did it the legal way, as everybody talks about, and it took years. It ain't quick to do it the legal way. But if you got money, you can buy your way into a host of countries. DJ Smooches, that's a hell of a name. Like that. The audio you're hearing is coming in from TikTok. So for folks who are saying, well, how do I call in? It is on TikTok. I don't have a way of bringing up YouTubers. So what you're hearing is coming from TikTok. Real quick in the comments, Louis Desjardins. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Louis Desjardins. Trump is easy to understand. Look at what he does and ignore what he says. He helps himself, helps powerful folks in return for favors, and screws over any group when it makes a bigger group happy. I hear what you're saying. I kind of want to say a lot of that sounds like a politician, but I don't favor screwing people over. But you're saying he pay attention to what he does and ignore what he says. I don't agree with that either. That was one of the big issues with what MAGA was saying in his first term when he's running in 2020. Don't vote based on your feelings, vote based on policy, ignore the rhetoric, ignore the mean tweets, vote based on what he does, not what he says. In my humble opinion, when you're the commander-in-chief of 350 plus million people, what you say matters. The idea that you should only pay attention to what he does and not what he says, and I know you're no fan of Trump there, Desjardins, but I believe that what you say and what you do should matter. I mean, because people act on that. I'll submit to you January 6th is a perfect example. The only reason that happened on January 6th is because of what Trump said. If Trump didn't say that the Democrats were still in the election and that he won, that would have never taken place. That whole event was because of what Trump said. That's the only reason they came there to protest and it got out of hand. It was because of what he said. So I don't believe that you should not pay attention to what a politician says and only what they do, especially when they're leading that many people. DJ 1.0, thank you. Appreciate that. Y'all better Amazon some shit before the tariffs hit. Temu before the eye gets you. $2 gas my ass. $10 eggs, very likely. Recession, really likely. How many of you folks believe that Trump is going to deliver on the promise of 100 to 1,000% tariffs? I'm going to raise my hand and say this is one of the times where I do believe what Trump is promising will not come to fruition. I think it'll be so destructive that the powers that be, because his side cares financially. DJ Julio, thank you. I do believe the powers that be will not let him would tell him, sir, you can't do this. You'll destroy the economy of the country by a significant margin. I don't think that's going to happen. It's impossible to know if Trump lied in this instance because it hasn't happened yet. Pro amateur. In regards to him suggesting he could end the war in 24 hours, that didn't happen. I mean, I could play the clip, but that didn't happen. Thoughts on Biden allowing U.S. missiles into Russia? He might be trying to do that to spite Trump. Remember the old man with dementia? He might be doing that simply to spite Trump. Since he's bragging he can do so much in this war, I'm going to leave him a mess on his hands. Or he could actually have true love and adoration for the Ukraine. DJ Julio, welcome to the program.
Man, I'm so glad somebody said that before I got up here. That's one of the first points I want to make. Trump had Biden and Zelensky, or not Biden. Trump had Putin and Zelensky coming to the table for negotiations, temporary ceasefire, and then Biden sends over these fucking long-range missiles.
You missing something. Let me tell you what you're missing. The day that was announced that that Biden offered to give long-range access to the Ukrainians, they had just bombed the shit out of the Ukraine the day before that. So it ain't like Putin was backing off.
No, but they were getting there. That was right before that night that that bombing is when Putin came out and said, okay, I'm ready to go and sit at the table. I'm ready to communicate.
That's like you getting in a fight with somebody and they punch you in the face and say, okay, well now let's sit down and talk about it after they don't just hit you in the face.
That has nothing, like, if Putin ain't paying attention and his generals are out there doing what they thought they were supposed to be doing and he didn't get the message to the generals in time and they got bombed in Ukraine, that sucks. I'm not saying that's what happened.
Okay.
I'm saying let's be real about the timeline. It was like bombing, Yes, I'm ready.
You're not going. I hear what you're saying.
Here's some missiles. Then Ukraine bombs them back.
I hear what you're saying, DJ. But the day after you have I mean, this was a pretty large bombing, by the way. That's the next day ain't the day to start talking about peace talks. I mean, let's look at it this way. Even if Trump, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, were willing to sit down and talk about peace talks a day after they did that, Zelensky would probably lose the respect of his own people. How the hell would all of these dead people, some of these folks are still buried in the rubble?
I get your point on that. I get your point 100%. But let's look at it in a different way. Let's look at it as a hand fight. Let's look at it me and you in a slap box hand fight, and we're going, and they stop the fight, and my hand's still in motion, and my motion smacks you. Are you coming back after me, or are you going to understand that was already in the way?
I mean, under those circumstances, but you're really stretching to pull that out. But under what you said, you might have a point.
I'm looking at it as a fight. I was pissed. I was fucking pissed when they bombed Ukraine because, it had looked like it was going to all go good, and that we were finally, headed towards our way. And then I heard about bombing, and then I heard about the talks, and then I heard freaking Biden sent missiles, and now Ukraine's bombing them. It's like I'm saying, if you think about it as a fight, because it's a fight, it's a war, it's a fight. You've got your coach in the corner, that's Biden, and that's Putin and Zelensky.
I actually think. Okay, I want to bring up someone. I don't normally bring up more than one person, but I do want to bring up somebody that wants to speak to you specifically. So, do you mind? If it gets out of hand, you know the rules. I'll drop them, but
no, I'm good.
All right.
Is it Stick?
No, this is DJ. Oh. This is DJ. This is a new caller. DJ, good evening.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
¿Cómo está usted? So,
she was just up. No,
this is a different person. So
this is my first time.
This is the first time. I'm gonna go ahead and break that. So what did you want to state to my caller?
Okay, so let me say this real quick. I do political lives as well, and I do a lot of research. I'm not a look at the news to get my information. I invested in fees that I actually pay money for, so that I can get something that is more middle of the road, not left, not right. Right, more middle of the road. So this is something that I posted on my page, and this was a post from the Time, all right? And it was posted on November the 7th, and this is from Putin to Trump, all right? So I'm going to read it real quick. It's very short.
This is November the 7th.
November the 7th.
Okay, let me hear it.
All right. It says, Putin did not come running. This is after the election. Putin did not come running. He let his spokesman reach out on Wednesday to the outcome of the U.S. presidential race, proclaiming that the Kremlin had no plans to congratulate Donald Trump on his victory. Yeah. If the U.S. wants the peace deal Trump promised during his campaign, the Russians signaled that he would need to earn it, and the price for Ukraine would be particularly high. And then the very next paragraph says this: the message is coming in from Putin. If you want a deal, you're going to have to crawl on your knees for it. So I say that to say this, that Putin wasn't getting ready to give any slack on that war. He wasn't. And after this was posted and a couple of other things that were done, including humiliating Trump's wife on their television, I think Biden took the right stand. I think he says, so you think we're a couple of wussies? I'm going to show you what a wussy look like. And I think I just think that was a good idea.
Mm. Yeah, and I didn't read that, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Now I have something that I wrote down here to go read and understand a little further. Mm-hmm. I still think that Trump's the better man for the job when it comes to ending that war. Biden's always been behind Ukraine and always willing to share weapons, and I wouldn't expect anything less for him as our president currently.
Why is Trump better? Why is Trump better?
I think he's more stern. I think he's more about it. I think he's more about putting America in the fight rather than just supplying the fight.
Why would you want to do that?
Okay, I'm not. If I'm the guy who protects my family, I'm not sending my son out to do it. Currently, we're sending our son out to do it.
But our family is not in danger. Our family's not in danger. We gonna send your son out to protect your neighbors?
If we're going to protect an ally with Ukraine, I would consider that a family member, close friend. I don't protect people unless they can't handle themselves.
So
but
where
your
was
family
Trump?
always protects your family.
So
Sorry,
where
I didn't
was,
interrupt you.
I'm sorry. Where was Trump's strength when this man plastered his wife's spread eagle all over the place? Where was Trump's strength when this man, because this has been since November the 7th, put this interview out in reference to him? Where's the strength that says, hey, don't do that to my wife? If you do that to my wife, I'm going to show you a picture of your house. I mean, where I'm just
I like how you said that because that's how he works. You know that.
I'm just curious. Where's the strength that we hear about, but we don't get to see?
So with that whole thing with his wife, a lot of people that don't have women that are in that industry might feel that way. His wife is around the world 100 million times in different magazines. Or in a magazine, it's out there. Everybody's already seen it. It's old news.
So state TV.
So no, but it doesn't. That showing it off. Okay. Let me just say it this way: if I'm Trump, I understand that you're trying to get under my skin. Well, you know what? My wife got rich off that photo. My family got rich off that photo, or made some good money. Made some good money. I don't know how rich. I don't know how much she made.
DJ, you know good well if somebody spreads your wife across the internet, you go looking for them.
Well, I would hope to think that I wouldn't. I don't know that I probably wouldn't. I probably would have piped up and said that was real mature, but yeah, she got paid to take those pictures.
And regardless of that,
she didn't get paid
to insult him, to humiliate him.
Yeah, she didn't
that was humiliated to the point that she's not going to come back into the White House. She says she'll be a part-time first lady, but nothing more than that. And I got to say, guys, if you have not read this letter, oh my God, that's all I can say about that. And I put it in your chat, and I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm not going to keep talking because I know we say do one person at a time.
Yeah. All right, but DJ, I certainly appreciate you coming through. That's a really good comeback about, you send people pictures of their house, and here you are embarrassing the hell out of his wife. And Julio, for you to come back, well, she did take him for money 20 years ago. I mean,
stop. Let me. Cause I wanted to reply to what you did say. Now you have a choice. You have a choice in everything that you do. If Trump gets on the defense, then he becomes weak.
He's not well. So just let him plaster your wife on state TV and ignore it.
If you react to a bully or somebody that's picking on you, they're going to keep picking on you.
Have you seen? Let me introduce you to this guy. Hold on, hang on. Let me introduce you to this guy named Trump. It sounds like you never heard of this dude. Somebody, if he responds to a bully, have you known Trump to ever sit back and quietly get attacked?
Yeah.
When? Give me an example.
Well, I can't.
I didn't think you could.
Right. I take that back. Let's go back 20 years when he was rebuilding New York. There were some things that he did that he stayed very quiet while being attacked and ended up getting his way in the long run.
Damn, you had to go back to the Carter administration to make a point? I mean, how far back you going?
I'm just doing what you do, Tim. Come on, man. Don't do me like that.
Not only that, liberal.
Right.
Not only that, Putin actually, in another interview, threatened to take his breath. He threatened to take Trump's breath, and that's how I'm going to put it.
Putin did that?
Unalive.
I haven't heard that.
Putin. He threatened to take his breath. So he said that if he does not go through with whatever their plan is, I don't know whatever he promised him, I don't know. I don't have it sitting in front of me. I have to pull it up and actually look at it again because I don't like to talk about stuff that's not in my face. But I
would have a whole show on that. I haven't heard all of that.
Yeah,
wow.
Look it up. Don't you write it down so you can look it up.
All right. Yeah, I definitely want to know that. All right. Well, I will move it on, DJ. By the way, you're welcome on the program anytime. I do appreciate you coming through. Thank you very much.
And look, guys, I do a political live as well. I'm more liberal, not conservative, but I allow everyone to have a voice in my platform. So it doesn't matter if you are a liberal or conservative. You are more than welcome to stop through. I'm 6:30 till 11, so I'm that evening hot cup of coffee. And so if you guys are not busy, do that. Stop through.
Appreciate the plug. I'll definitely give you a follow
right now.
All right.
Okay, yeah. Tap on my face, and I think it'll give you that option.
Last time
it gives me a bunch of.
It's been a while since I had a girl tell me to. Been a while.
See a red
I see it. Yeah, I haven't had a girl tell me to tap on her face in a while, but thank you. Appreciate that. I got you covered like a blanket. All right.
I'm gonna show out when you get to my side.
Got you covered. All right. Thank you, DJ. All right, moving on with the program. And thank you. Tap on my face a couple times. Shout out to that. All right, DJ. So at the end of the day, your boy promised to end it in 24 hours. We never talked about that particular statement he made about ending the war in 24 hours. Did he lie?
Yeah. Well, listen, he doubled down on that. When he started that speech, he said probably within 24 hours, and then he later on continued on with his first statement when he said it, he probably within the first 24 hours. And then he went on and he said within the first 24 hours. He left the probably out of it after that. So, yeah.
So he did lie.
Well, I mean, he says something that he wasn't able to come correct with, but he doesn't have the power of our military behind him. He doesn't have any of that.
But didn't he know that already? Didn't he already know when you're making a promise that you're not going to have the military behind you? I mean, wouldn't he have known that?
Me and you could assume that. I believe if I think I have enough talking power with somebody that I don't necessarily get along with, but we have a good relationship with, if I think I have a good relationship with you, I believe that I'm going to be able to call you and at least have a rational conversation and maybe call an end to whatever we're going through at the time.
I hear you.
I think that's what he was. I think that's what he was banking on, is that he built up that relationship. I'm coming back. It's 75 days from the time they say I do. So you got 75 days. Let's get this done before I get in the office, because I'm coming for you anyway.
All right.
Let's get it done before I have to threaten you with military action. Let's get it done, before all
this
that.
This is a guy promising to get us out of military conflicts. You're talking about threatening with military action. He's promising to end this stuff, not make it bigger.
He does end the stuff by strength. Look what he did to that one dude. 18 days we went without any bloodshed because he showed him a picture of his house. I like that she brought that up, because he is.
18
when he
days.
has that ability to flex, he flexes hard. He doesn't have to drop bombs. He drops words.
18 days. All right, that sounds like some bars to a rap song. I gotta move it on though, DJ. He doesn't drop bars. We say he doesn't drop bombs. He drops words. All right. I don't totally agree with you, but appreciate you coming in as always. Julio, thank you for your support as well, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure. All right, moving on. And Julio is certainly a friend of the program. I do want to address a super chat. Putin will be crying once Trump gives the Ukrainians more. You got a symbol there. Are you talking about more bombs? Are you saying that Trump is going to get in office and still continue assisting in Ukraine? Because that is not what he campaigned on. I mean, it's just not. Thoughts on, and I saw that in Moran about Biden allowing missiles. I wanted to respond to something else, and I kind of lost my train of thought. I do want to ask you folks to tap the screen. TikTok, I get the love from YouTube, but TikTok, when I ask you guys to tap the screen, we should be up to about 50,000. But you guys are not showing the program any. Tap the screen. Thank you, Stevie D. Appreciate that. Stevie D, thank you. Going back to the box. I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I will bring it. I can't, as that says B, I'm assuming it doesn't say bewitched, does it? B Wine, good evening. B Wine, are you there? Okay, apparently my caller is on mute or something there, so we'll move it on. Continuing on with Twain and one of my subscribers. We get the subscribers first, Diggs, a few we have. So, Twain, good evening. Welcome to the program.
All right, Tim.
Hey, good evening.
Been a minute, man. I haven't been back on your show. Been back on your platform since the election. I just been bummed out. Try to stay away from TikTok, and even had to let you go for a minute just to get myself back together.
Was that loss? Did that loss hurt that bad?
It hurts him. It does hurt. But I have a question for you.
Sure. What you got? You're going in and out.
Without, okay, just a moment. Hold on a second.
Okay, I only hear the question there. Oh, is it really going to be okay, says Mount Loving Mama? Well, he said, oh, it is really. Well, as they say, we got to give Trump a chance, so we'll see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Twain. Go ahead.
Okay. What do you think would happen? Because I was listening the other day to Macron, president of France.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the other European nations. And he basically was saying, telling them that we're just really going to have to get more self-sufficient. I don't think him as the president of France is really, really into Trump's plans and and the things he got going on. So he was wondering that the nations, they better get self-sufficient and get ready to take care of themselves. Yeah. But with this, my question is, what do you think would happen if, say, Trump, do what he said he's going to do with Ukraine, but they decide to keep supporting Ukraine, with weapons and things? What do you think will be the outcome?
You would have a huge falling out between the U.S. and some NATO member states. You're saying if the NATO member states continue supporting Ukraine on their own, and Trump Trump refused to give the Ukrainians any military assistance, but our allies were doing it. Wow. I mean, it could lead to the Russians going up against some of those allies, because they're not going to really attack, even though we're supplying and we are in a proxy war with Russia. It's not likely the Russians are going to attack us, but if France or Poland or some country was doing it, it could possibly happen to them. Certainly when you got Trump, it's like, I'm out of it. I'm only going to focus on my country, America first. We're not in it. You could have Russia, because they already have the alliance with the North Koreans. My guess is the Iranians may step up. You might get some assistance from the Chinese. You could have NATO member nations suddenly dealing with a problem if what Trump is saying happens. I don't think Trump's going to do it, though.
Well, like I said, my fear is, from what Macron was saying, was just that Europe is going to start out to be making decisions for the best for their. They
should. And I said this. Let me interrupt you and say this. I'm surprised they didn't do this the first time. When Trump came along the first time and was talking about they need to up their military budgets or we're going to get out of NATO, and they seen what Trump did with the Paris Accord and the Iran deal. In my opinion, it was at that point, after seeing Trump and what he showed the United States was capable of, they should have started talking then among themselves, because you've always saw the U.S. as big brother that's going to come to your rescue, but Trump showed them all it takes is one president, and that whole perception that the U.S. got our back can go out the window. And what I was saying that could have likely happened at the time is that if Trump is demanding that they up their military budget to whatever percent it was of their GDP, that would have been the perfect time for Russia or China to step in and say, look, we can protect you for less. If you're tired of hearing Trump demand you put this much money in, you can come to us. Give us a little bit, open up your import-export market with us, and we'll protect you. And I thought that Trump was undermining us at that time. You there?
You're buffering on my end, Tim.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, I'll move it on. If it's buffering, I have to move it on.
I'm here.
Okay.
You were buffering a bit on mine.
Okay. All right, but do you get what I'm saying? That when Trump is telling them that other nations.
Okay, then.
Yeah. All right. Apparently there is something going on. Let me know in the comments. Are you guys seeing me buffering as well on TikTok? I know the YouTube platforms apparently are okay. But let me know. I'm on Wi-Fi, so I don't know what the hell is going on here. And I see folks are saying no good on my end, clear. Okay, so nobody's seeing it. So maybe it was with my last caller. All right, that does happen. I know you're coming in loud and clear. Yeah, YouTube, I haven't seen any issues, and I will ask my YouTube viewers, certainly tap that like button, get the likes up. We can certainly on YouTube vertical, get your boy up over 100. We can make that happen. Appreciate you folks that are following the program. You know we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You can be critical of the host. You can be critical of anyone in the comment section. That's how free speech works. We are MAGA friendly. Been that way since day one. Liberals are welcome as well. For you guys who enjoy that type of dialogue, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. I would ask that you follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Mike, yeah, appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you for supporting the program. Will G says, listen, he thinks he has power even without power. He's barking at Republicans. Texas, yeah, once again. Everything's bigger in Texas. Thank you. Listen, he thinks he has power even without power. He's barking at Republicans not to confirm judges from Democrats. And then he wants Congress to take recess so he can jam his shameful appointments. Well, I will agree with Trump. He does have power without power. He's the one that apparently shot down the border bill. He was able to do without power. So I agree with him on that. Texas, good evening.
How's it going, Tim?
It's going good. Going good to get to have you back on. So Trump promising that he would end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. What was that?
I think that goes along the same lines as him saying he's going to get the wall built and Mexico's going to pay for it, right? I think sometimes Trump runs his mouth a little too far, overspeaks on things, overpromises. I don't think it was to, I guess you could say, just straight up lie. I don't think he believed he was lying. I just think he oversells himself sometimes.
Mike, appreciate the subscription. Thank you. So what's the difference, though? What's the difference between an exaggeration, a wild exaggeration, and a lie? What's the difference?
Well, I mean, a lie, there's intent there to bring the deception, where if you're just overselling yourself, there's good intention there. It's not to deceive or anything like that. It's just you think, oh, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, but if you're overselling yourself, isn't that also intentional deception? I mean, if you're overly stating something, like I said, if I tell people, I tell some chick I'm working with 12 inches in my pants when it's only 5, isn't that overselling? Isn't that lying, or is that just an exaggeration?
Well, that is a lie there, right? But if you got the ruler on the wrong side and you're measuring in centimeters, maybe you thought you had 12. You know what I mean? There's the distinction. Right?
I love my MAGA. You guys can come up with some of the most beautiful. That's hilarious, but I guess you're right. I was looking at centimeters, baby. I said 12. I didn't say inches. Oh my God.
I mean, look, I don't know how much more you want when I'm sitting here telling you oversold himself. You want it to be just this deceitful lie. No, I don't think it was a deceitful lie.
How could you believe
the situation?
But
I think you misread Putin.
How could you believe that you could end the war when you're not president and the guy who's still president is clearly going against your wishes? You think you just pick up the phone and call Putin after tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have been killed? They've lost all kinds of military equipment. Russia's lost a lot in this fight with the Ukrainians. They've been at war for 2.5 years. This is what I've said. If Trump could pick up the phone and end that in 24 hours, the entire American populace should be asking, what the hell did you give them? Because they're not just going to end this on a friendship handshake. You got to be promising them something huge to do that.
No, I mean, look, I never believed he had the ability to end it in 24 hours. I know it's a bigger conflict than that. I think.
So you knew it was a lie then. So you knew this wasn't true. That's a lie.
No, I just knew he wasn't going to be able to do it. I don't know if he believed he was going to be able to do it or not. That's what I'm saying. Did he get out there and he's seeing the polls and he's seeing himself up, and so you're feeling like Charlie Sheen? You're saying I'm winning and there ain't nothing going to stop me, and boom, the next thing you know, you got something coming out your mouth that, oh damn, I gotta be able to cover that. I gotta be able to do that. And
I don't know.
He said he doubled down on it, and he shouldn't have doubled down. He should have said,
your interpretation of it. I just want to respond real quick before we continue. And I see OG Dew said, this is a new word. Did the Diddycrats want to grant citizenship to 5,000 illegals a day? What is a Diddy? P. Diddy. Okay, so, but no, here's the point. You, as a regular citizen there, Texas, you stated, I never thought he could actually do this. And you don't have any knowledge of his connections with Putin or his ability with Vladimir Zelensky or any of that. You, as a citizen, can see this is highly unlikely to happen. You really believe he thought he could do it? When you, as a citizen, can see clear as day this is unlikely?
Well, look, I'm not saying he can't get it done. I just know
24 hours.
From what I've been watching, 24 hours is probably out of the question. That's not a realistic goal. Yeah. It's something that it's catchy. It's something. Maybe it wasn't just a blatant lie, and it was a campaign tool.
You sure making it sound like a blatant lie. You're just in your description of it. You're making it clear. This is like promising to go out and be able to buy a Cadillac for $2. I mean, you making it sound like, yeah, this would have taken a miracle to accomplish.
Not a miracle to accomplish, but just look, it's not going to be a 24-hour job. I don't know why he ever said 24 hours. Yeah. I don't know if he was up for 4 days straight and wasn't thinking clearly. I don't know. I can't speak for the man. All I know is
he said it too many times. He didn't
solve the issue in 24 hours. I voted for him because I know he's going to get something resolved a lot quicker than the current administration is going to get, and a lot better terms and policies than what his candidate, is the person running against him was saying, because she didn't have an exit plan or any kind of strategy as to how to handle Russia and Ukraine other than the status quo. And that's what got him elected. He didn't need to go out there and say, hey, I'm going to get it done in 24 hours, but he did.
Well, what about when you say he didn't need to say that? And Jay Aviation in the comments said it was a promise so people can believe that he is powerful. Was it indeed one of those dick measuring kind of statements? I'm just going to tell people I can do something to think that I have all of this power and connection with Putin and Zelensky. Was he indeed portraying himself as some kind of leader with godlike powers?
I wouldn't say like godlike powers, but he had to definitely portray himself as the biggest man to be able to get the job done right.
Is there any other leader that's ever been able to end a war in one day like that? I mean, that's if it ain't godlike, it's got to be another synonym that's pretty damn close. One day.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, have we seen that ever? No.
No, and not only did he promise to do it one day. Yeah, not only did he promise to do it in one day, he promised to do it even without being in the presidency. He was going to do this as a citizen, as a president-elect.
Yeah, and the first time I heard about it, look, I was just like, oh, did he say, like, the first day he's president, he's going to get it ended? And then it's like, oh, no, he's saying 24 hours after getting elected. Like, oh, yeah, that ain't going to happen. You're not even president yet. He's speaking out of his ass on that.
Yeah, so it is okay to say that he was lying then. I mean, you pretty much are saying it was a lie without saying it was a lie.
I just don't know. I can't speak on what he actually believed and what he felt. I just know I didn't buy it. And if someone voted for him thinking that I voted for Trump because he's going to end this Ukraine shit in 24 hours, well, I mean, you were stupid to think that he was actually going to do it. I mean, look, take it as a political talking point, take it as, a campaign talking point, whatever. If you thought that was actually going to happen in the first 24 hours, well, then you're the disappointed party. Right, but I think the majority of people voted for him because they know he was the stronger candidate to do it. And there's bigger issues here at home as well, as like our economy. What are we going to do? And that's why people voted for him.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, I guess I just don't see the fuss in why is it a lie? Why did he say it? There's bigger things at play here.
Well, no matter what happened, I mean, because I've been saying on my program for the longest that, transgender boys wanting to play female sports. You talk about there's bigger issues. That's not 99.9% of Americans are not dealing with that. Yet that was coming up at every Trump rally. Ending the Ukraine war, that's tax money that most of us are contributing to. That is at least something that's affecting all of us. But having a daughter that's playing against a biologically born male, over 99.9% of Americans are not dealing with that or never deal with that at all. And yet it was coming up at every Trump rally, every Republican gathering. So I agree with you about the bigger issue thing, but when does that ever matter?
Well, it does matter. I mean, that's what I believe got him elected. I don't think he got elected, for solely by the people that think he's going to keep boys out of girls' sports. I mean, that's a very...
It was a big issue, though. The transgender issue In the top 5, I believe for folks on the right, that was one of the top 5 issues, was transgender-related issues, which I stated 99.9% of Americans, whether it is prisoners and sex operations or going in the bathroom, 99.9% of Americans will never deal with any of that stuff. And it made one of the top 5 issues among Republican voters.
Well, because the bigger part of that issue wasn't boys playing in girls sports, but exactly what you breezed past there was inmates, soldiers being able to get this gender affirming care at a taxpayer expense. That does affect everybody.
How many inmates out of all of the millions of people we have in penal institutions, how many people are even trying to do that shit?
Well, when I was a correctional officer, I mean, we had a growing amount of people that were actually classifying themselves as transgender. Now, would they go through affirming care? I don't know.
But you said a growing amount. Are we talking about this growing from 20 to 2,000 or growing from 2 to 3? What does growing mean? That could mean anything.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the numbers were on it when I was there, but I know we went from not having any to having 5 one week, and then we had, a couple, 30, 40 by the time I left, and I don't know what it's at now. I still talk to some people, and it's just, it's become a more common thing where before it wasn't common at all. And that's what I say. I don't know if they would follow through gender affirming care, because we saw it as it gave them a bigger benefit. They got private showers, they got private cells, when they claim that status.
Well, I could see why they're doing it because of safety. I mean, if you're in there, especially if you got abusive children or something on your rap sheet, I could see why you might lie just to get a safe cell. I mean, because we do allow violence to be in our penal institutions. In some cases, certainly if you've abused a child, the American public wants you to encounter violence while you're in there. So I hear your point, but I don't know. I mean, for that to be a top 5 American issue seems insane to me.
That's what I'm saying, because it got put out there by the far left that we would be paying at the taxpayer expense. So that
ain't what happened though. That's not what happened, Texas. What happened is Kamala Harris, when she was asked about it, she said, "I would follow the law." Fact is, this gender affirming care for convicts, that has already been the law. It was a law during the Trump administration. She was questioned on it, and she stated, if I'm president, I'm gonna follow the law, which is already in place, which means they continue getting it. She wasn't talking about doing something new or something unique. That's already on the books.
Oh, in that instance, yeah, it is, but I don't think it is for the military, which we got brought up, which she also ignored. And then also, there's state lawmakers and stuff in blue states talking about having it available for children whose parents don't agree with them.
Yeah.
And I know that was a big topic too. I'm just saying it's bigger than saying boys playing in girls sports, which you were trying to
But I'm still going to stand by my original. I get go ahead.
Yeah, okay, but what I'm saying is the bigger part is you can't just say, "Oh, why is it the top 5 for Republicans when most people aren't going to deal with it?" Well, if you look at it at an economic level where it's going to be possibly more towards taxpayers' money, yeah, it does affect more people, and it becomes more of a forefront issue. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's like you can't just broad brush it as something minor, saying boys playing in girls sports.
It's minor in regards to my point that 99.9% of Americans will never see or deal with these people at all, and yet they're shooting beer cans and shit and talking about I don't want them in the bathroom with my kids. I mean, or I don't want them playing on the teams. You're not going to deal with any of this stuff, is what I'm saying. I get your argument about the tax money. I don't want my tax money going to them. That's a legitimate point to make, but we're making it sound like America's being invaded by trans people. It's just.
I mean, I know you don't have young kids. That's obvious, right?
No, I have a daughter.
She's a school age?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a stepson that's, 16, and I got kids that are older that when they were in school, yeah, it was becoming more common than when I was in school.
It's becoming more common. Yeah, because
kids that are going to school and are open about it, and hey, I'm not.
Yeah, it's becoming more common because it's going from 0 to some number. When you and I were in school, there were 0 trans. I mean, it was not allowed. Yeah, you're right. It's becoming more common. It's just like when you said it's an increase in the penal, and I said, what is it going from 1 to 2 or 2 to 2,000? Because when we were kids, you weren't really safe going to school if you were part of the LGBT community. So yeah, now that they've made it so that we're not going to kill you or beat the hell out of you, there's a few more of them out there.
Yeah, yeah, there is. And look, we can support them when they make that choice. I think what it is for a lot of people is parents' rights. They were afraid we're on the fringe of saying, well, if your kid's 10 and they want to do this, the school's going to support them, get them the care they need. And that was another area where, yeah, a lot of people, I think, are dealing with it more than what you're portraying if you say 99% of people are doing it. Look,
I do stand by that. I think 99.9% of Americans...
I disagree on that because, I mean, it's like I said, I can see it right now in school. It's like, it's a lot broader than 99%.
If you got 1 or 2 transgender kids at your child's school, you're not dealing with it. I mean, they're just walking past your door on the way to class. You're not dealing with it. So what do you mean that is more than 99.9%? Do you consider if there's a transgender child at your daughter's school, that means you are dealing with it?
No.
Right. Then what are you talking about?
I'm saying well, there's more than 1 or 2 of them.
I don't care if it's 10. I don't care if it's 10. If they're not, your daughter ain't bringing them home.
Out of thousands of kids, there's like hundreds.
Yeah. But the point I'm making is if your daughter's not bringing them home for sleepovers or anything, you're not dealing with them. They're just at the school. How are you dealing with them? 99.9% of Americans, I believe, have no interaction with the transgender community at all. None. There are whole counties that feature 0 transgender. Most American counties do not have anybody walking around. Certainly if you get down in the rural South, ain't nobody walking around there. It ain't even safe. So I don't see it as being the issue.
I guess we're from different places. I guess we're just from way different communities because, yeah, it's pretty admin around here. I mean,
where are you at?
I don't know, I'm in Central Texas. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean.
You got a lot of...
in the South.
What they say is the only thing in Texas is steers and queers. But wait, in Texas? That many of them?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Look, where I'm at, we're next to a military base, so there's a lot of people coming from all over the country, as well. So it's not
Central
all people
Texas.
from Texas coming here.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to move it on, but you take care of yourself down there in Transgender County, Texas. I have not heard that. I've never heard that before, but Texas, appreciate you coming through as always. Good talk.
Have a good one.
You too. All right, Luke, moving on. I want to address the super chat. Will G says, and then Trump wants his appointments to skip government background checks. That is true, but go get it through a third-party background agency, then hand out clearances like candy. I heard that on the news the other day, that they don't want to use the FBI for background checks. They want to use a third-party agency. Now, I get that Trump and many, Trump supporters don't trust the FBI. I get, but that is about as corrupt as you can get. You don't hire an agency that do not even receive a paycheck if you don't pay them, and that's who is doing the background checks on the people you want to appoint. That should be alarming to everybody. And I did hear that Trump wants to make appointments without having them have FBI background checks. Now, Jared Kushner, I'm sure all of you are aware of that name. That's how he got in the first time, because the FBI did not pass him for a background check during Trump's first administration, and he was able to finagle the rules and get Jared Kushner in there. But Jared Kushner was not supposed to be in there the first time. Hiring a third-party agency. Wow. Definitely the likes of a false prophet or antichrist. Will, shit. Wow, Antichrist. Now, some are going to say calling Trump Hitler and Antichrist and all of that shit is why the Democrats lost. I'll leave it at that. People are fools to really believe that just because God talks to a high-ranking person, it's all good. It could be for he or she, him or her's demise. I think I'm reading that right. It could be for he or she's demise and the glory of someone else. That's deep. Says people are fools to really believe that just because God talks to a high-ranking person, it's all good. It could be for he or she's demise and the glory of someone else. That is deeper than I am. But I will say that, they all, when I was in the church, they said God does everything for a reason. I mean, if that's the case, then the Holocaust happened for a reason. I mean, it's hard to decipher some of that stuff. I will just say, for me personally, it's hard to do. The glory of Vance, the glory of J.D. Vance, see more. All right, the glory of Vance. Deuteronomy 32:99 KJV. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. That is the verse that backs up what he said, Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. That is really, really deep. Wow. That is really deep. Way above my head. I will admit that. I'm not in the church anywhere near as much. I don't read the Bible like that. Way above my head. Wow. Before I move it on, anyway, what I wanted to say is I do appreciate the 42,000. God is in the beginning and the end, says Mount Love and Mom. And yeah, you guys are on a different side of the political spectrum, but it sounds like you agree on that. For a quick minute, I do have to halt the live. I will be back shortly, but I got some business I got to take care of. I'll come back and catch you guys on the other side. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. God is love, says Ocean. I want to address the God comments because I don't want to go out like Kamala Harris when the person yelled out, what was it, Jesus is Lord or God is Lord? Catch you in a minute. Thank you, folks, on YouTube as well. I will be back shortly. I got to make a quick run. And I